Hello, YouTube. One of the many side projects that I'm working on as I prepare to fix up the ceiling for Good Enough. The name of the RV here, Good Enough. As I prepare to fix the walls, I'm also living in it, so I have to make a little step ladder that will take us from the ground here up to the bunk bed system. I've been climbing on top of this, and that didn't work so well. I ended up ripping one of the seats here already. I don't know if you can see the seat being ripped from me standing on it. So I decided to go ahead and build a little ladder, a little step ladder. Well, a little ladder to climb up. I went to price them out at Home Depot, and they run about $30 to $90 for a little ladder. A small little one like this is probably about between $30 to $50. So rather than spend $30 to $50 for a little ladder, I decided to build one. So I went and I bought some, I think it was 2x3s. Let me show you what they look like. Well, basically the 2x3s were like these, which are, I think, 2x2s. But let me show you the 2x3, which I have cut up. Okay, here we are. I bought two of these 2x3s. That's these poles right here. They were like 2x3 by 8 feet or something, 6 or 8 feet. And they were only like $2 and probably about $2.80 or something, $2.79, $2.89 or something. But let's just say $3. So $6 plus a couple screws. I'm sawing it. You can see I have a little blue tube there, doing the cut, providing power for my jigsaw. And I did cut a slight angle on the foot so that the ladder will kind of lean against the bunk. So I tilted the rungs also. Kind of building it ad hoc. I didn't really have a formal plan, just one in my head. And I'm kind of measuring the distance to try to get them evenly spaced. And then I'm tilting the piece like this slightly so that it's not like straight, because the ladder itself, let me apologize for the plane flying overhead here, but the ladder itself will be not standing vertical straight up and down. It's going to be diagonal by about 10-15 degrees. So I didn't even measure the degrees. I just kind of eyeballed it and guessed it. You can see it's not straight up and down. It's actually a slight angle. And that's what I did with each of the rungs. So I'm going to measure the distance here, which is approximately 14.5 inches between each rung. So you can see it's like 14.5 inches between each rung. So I'm going to go 14.5. And then put that rung there, and then do another 14.5 and put the final rung. So the top's going to have a little bit more gap than the bottom. I mean, the bottom has a little bit more gap than the top, and that was designed like that on purpose, because that's going to be the foot side, the side that sits on the bottom, and this side will be leaning up against the bed itself, the bunk bed. So what I'm going to do is just drill, set this like this diagonal at 14.5 inches. Then drill some holes, just like I did right there, and run the screws through. I've got like 3-inch deck screws that I'm using to seal the whole thing. So let me go ahead and build that and show you what the final results look like. But this is kind of what it's going to look like, and you can see, and we'll see how well it works or doesn't. I think it should work. It's just a ladder, nothing too complicated. Here then is our completed $6.50 ladder, maybe $7 or less. So for $7 versus $30 to $50, we have a step ladder. All right, it's supposed to stand up like this. See how the bottom is cut at diagonal? But you can see it's not connecting fully. So what I'm going to do is get a hammer and try to hammer this in. I think the wood might have been a little bit warped or something. But we're going to try to hammer it so that it makes a better bond, so that hopefully the screws will be strong enough to hold it up with the better bond. And then the next thing to do is to put it into the RV and try it out and see how well this step ladder works. As you can see, I got my trusty handy hammer with a bunch of knife cuts. Yeah, for those of you who've been following the series, you know where this hammer came from. This is one of the demonstration hammers from Hessler Knives, where I cut through the hammer with the knife and show you that afterwards it's still sharp. But you can see the hammer's still usable. It just has cut marks all over it. I'm going to go ahead and hammer these down where the screws are, and hopefully it'll lock into place and not split or get weakened. So we'll see what happens. Cross your fingers. Alright, it looks like hammering it didn't really bring it down too much. It brought it down a little bit closer, but not that much closer. A little bit closer. I guess it is working, sort of. But it's making the wood look really bad. I hope I didn't break it right there. But I'm going to try hammering this one just a little bit more. Just to close the gap there where the screws go on the edge there. Just to make it a little bit stronger. Alright, here then is the finished product. I have closed the gap. It's a little rough there where you can see the hammer marks. But that's okay. This isn't perfection. This is just good enough. That seems to be the running theme for this RV and everything on it. Nothing is perfect. But it is good enough. Let's try it out and see how it works. Here then is how the stepladder is going to go. It's designed to sit diagonally like this and mount right up to the bed right there. See how it leans right there and should have enough room to climb up. So this is how it's supposed to go. And look at that, a perfect fit between the two seats. That was just luck. Let's see how well this works. Hopefully it hold me up and not break. Yep, and I'm able to get up. So, should be able to use a step ladder to climb up and get into the bunk bed. Looks like it's strong enough. This wood's not the hardest wood, not the strongest wood. It is a 2x3. I think 2 screws is enough to hold it up. But it seems to be holding me up, and you know, it's not meant for you jumping up and down and climbing really long on it. It's just meant for getting up and down. And I think that's how we're going to do it. It's going to be a matter of making a place to store this, I guess, up on the bed when you're traveling or something. But yeah, nice little ladder for under $7. Now we have an easy way to get up and down the bunk, and it is sized perfectly. And should make the bunk bed easier to access and use now. Well, that should wrap it up for today's episode on this quick impromptu homemade stepladder edition. You might be wondering what I'm planning on doing with these other beams here. These are, I think, 1x2. And I'm contemplating running them as runners, as ribbing across the unit. Because I need, you know, I'm kind of doing this by myself, although my wife might come over to help me if she can get some time off, to try to put up the roofing. And that's going to be kind of hard because we got these like big sheets, like 4 foot by 8 foot. I may have to cut them or something. I don't know. But what I'm thinking of doing is taking these sheets right here, not these sheets, but these boards, and running them across lengthwise. Like, I'm going to put L brackets up, and then run it across. And do that for each of these areas. I don't even know if there's one long enough to go across here or not. I know they have these little ledge thingies, these trim, that they used previously, and that's what you can use to kind of hold up the roofing. But the problem I see is that the roofing may want to warp and get heavy. So trim will be put on later, but for now, what I want to do is put L brackets, like put an L bracket here, and then run a board across. So that way I by myself could put the whole roofing up. I can just kind of slide it in. And hopefully the L brackets with the 1x2 trim will hold it into place. And then later on, trim can be run across. Those L brackets will probably stay up. I'm not 100% sure, but I may leave them up. That way you have something on the roof you can actually attach lights and other things to. So that's the plan. And for the roofing, I had contemplating getting, it's like an underlayer board. It's like a clear little thin wood, kind of like what they have right there. That's rotting, all wet and dry rotting. I thought about getting that. It's like $12 at Home Depot. But I saw something that's even cheaper. It's, I forget what it's called. It's kind of like cardboard paper stock almost with printed wood grain on it. And it's only like $8.90 something or $9 per 4x8. So, you know, it's a difference of $10 or $20. But I think I'm going to go with that because it's cheaper. And I'm trying to keep costs as low as possible on this. You know, save $20 here, save $50 there, save $100 here. On this ladder, we've saved about $20 or more just by building it ourselves. And it's like perfectly sized. Look at it. And perfect, you know, because I measured it. and if it's not perfect, it's at least good enough, right? So that's going to be today's plan, is to Well, we already did the ladder. That was a big thing today. The other thing to do is to start trying to clean up this floor and maybe even lay the flooring if I can. Maybe even before I do the roofing. Although ideally I would finish up the roofing. But the problem that I'm having is this ODM or ODC, whatever this board is called. It has splinters. And they pop up and stab your feet. And if you wear socks, it gets all into the socks and ruins your clothes. So I need to get a floor down that I can walk on. And floors kind of become a priority because once I get the floor, I'll clear all this and this place is actually livable, a lot more livable. And then the roof I can do, and then when I paint later, I'll have to cover up the floor or something. At least that's going to be the plan. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you found this video interesting, if not helpful, about making your own ladder. It is possible to make these things, these short little things for climbing. You know, you could make even a longer one, like a 10 or 12 foot ladder. For a 10 or 12 foot ladder, I wouldn't use a 2x3. I would use a 3x4 beam and use that. But you could probably make it with 3 or 4 of those beams, which run about $3 each, maybe $3.20 or so. So you're looking at about $15 to make that ladder, a 12-foot ladder, versus buying one for about $80 to $100. So I can't believe they charge that much for ladders, but that's what they do. They're expensive. So until next time, everyone, take care. God bless you all. Please stay safe. I hope that if you're in the middle of rebuilding things, that these videos are giving you some ideas on how to cut corners and save some money. Some of it may not really be, you know, the best way to do something, but it is the cheap way. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.